What if we only draft players in a Best Ball Mania draft from good offenses? It's a thought experiment that I've done before. Rich Rebar was the first one to introduce this to me. And I thought what we did today, drafting of the 11 spot in this Best Ball Mania, is only draft Kyle Shanahan tree coaches. We know that Kyle Shanahan is the best play caller in the NFL. We know that his disciples have basically been the best play callers in their respective institutions. So obviously we have Shanahan himself. Then we have Sean McVay, who learned from both Kyle and his dad. We have the LaFleurs, Matt and Mike. We have Clint Kubiak with the Raiders. We have Liam Cohen, who of course coached with Sean McVay. We have Kevin Stefanski, who maybe you could argue is more of the Kubiak part of the tree, but if you go down the tree trunk off to the branches, Stefanski is going to be there. We have Mike McDaniel with the Chargers, Bobby Slowick with the Dolphins. People forget PFF Bobby. Obviously, we have Brian Fleury, who got promoted underneath of Clint Kubiak. We have Clay Kubiak, who's still there with the 49ers. Then we have Nate Scheelhaas and Zach Robinson. So, all in all, we have the 49ers, the Rams, the Packers, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Jags, the Falcons, Chargers, Dolphins, Seahawks, Buccaneers. We are only going to be drafting players from those teams to the best of our abilities. I mean, look, if I absolutely have to make a pivot, well, I guess we'll cross that part of the bridge when we get to it. So we are looking at guys who are available for us here. Obviously, we have the 49ers players. We also have Ashton Genty available here. We have Devin A. Chain available here. We have Brock Bowers available here. We have Amarian Hampton available here. So plenty of good picks at this turn. I have not thought through this experiment in terms of like, I mean, are there going to be guys who are unclickable in round 5 or round 6? We are certainly going to do our best to find out. I like taking the double raider. I've not done this double raider start in a Best Ball Mania draft yet. So let's do it. So we're going to take Genty. And then I guess let's think through. Does it make more sense to take Bowers, double up? We know we're going to be able to get Mendoza. Does it make sense to take Hampton? Does it make sense to take Achan? I'm light on both Hampton and Achan, but under the limits of this thought experiment, I can't take my Kansas City Chiefs players. So we're gonna do the ADP thing. We're gonna take Achan. I obviously can take Malik Willis with Achan. So we have got Clint Kubiak. We have got Devin Achan there in that list, and we're gonna find out just how possible this is. One quick note here. I actually just realized as I was recording this, I missed a super obvious one, which is Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell was the Rams offensive coordinator. So that is a pretty obvious one. I've got a couple other notes here. Technically, Brian Angelino, who's the new Steelers offensive coordinator, worked under O'Connell in Minnesota, so you could include him. If we have to take a Steelers player, I mean, I guess maybe I will argue that, but I do think definitely including the Vikings guys. I mean, Kevin O'Connell is certainly part of the McShaney tree, so that means Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, Kyler Murray, T.J. Hawkinson, like basically a whole new plethora of guys there. So I mean, Kyron Williams is going to be one of the most obvious ones here. There's not an obvious. I guess Igbuka would be part of the tree under. Um, Okay, so let's take Kyron, and then Igbuka would be part of the tree under Zach Robinson. So I can take Emeka Igbuka as my top wide receiver here. I mean, obviously, I would prefer to take T. Higgins. I would prefer to take Garrett Wilson, but I outlined the part. You know what? I mean, I could actually just do Lad, who I have very little exposure to, and that sets me up with a quarterback that I don't mind taking in Herbert. And I also want to have a quarterback available in that quarterback window. So we have Genty, Achan, Kyron, all as parts of the McShaney tree. So okay, well, Lad went. So we are going to take Emeka Egbuka so as our wide receiver one. So that sets up Baker for us later. So we have Genty, we have Achan, we have Kyron Williams, we have Emeka Egbuka. I mean, honestly, a pretty nice start to the team. All offenses that I think are going to be pretty good, all play callers and coordinators that I think are pretty strong. So we are McShannying it up. Looking at the options available to me in round 5 and round 6 here. So we do obviously have Devontae Adams. We have I actually Byshell Tootin would be included as well because we're including Liam Cohen in this list. We're not including Jordan Tyson. We've got Christian Watson with the LaFleur connection. Sadly, can't take Lamar Jackson, who is falling after ADP. I mean, I need a wide receiver. So it looks like I'm definitely going to take one of Adams or Watson. Brian Thomas Jr. Fits this list as well. I mean, it is kind of funny when you start going through this exercise. It's all like, hey, yeah, these guys are all pretty good. Isn't that kind of funny? That like, oh, all these guys actually are quite good for fantasy who are under the coaches who have sort of solved the multiple looks that defenses are giving. I mean, a lot of the Super Bowl representatives have come from the Shanahan coaching tree. So I mean, this is a nice little ADP dipperino on Devontae Adams, anyways. I would like to take Christian Watson here. I would have potentially been in to taking Bishal too. And I guess theoretically, I could have taken Jadarian Price as well, since we're still downstream from the Kubiak effect. Honestly, this is like not that bad of an actual strategy that you could actually deploy for your exposures, which is I just really want to be overweight on the play callers that I know are going to be one step ahead of the defenses, which I feel pretty good about, Kevin O'Connell and Zach Robinson and Brian Fleury. And I mean, honestly, even PFF Bobby. PFF Bobby had a tough time in Houston, but I think there's maybe potentially a little bit of something there. Okay. So Christian Watson went. So we could take Marv as well, though I don't think that LaFleur is calling plays. So we're going to take Brian Thomas Jr. So we've got Baker set up at quarterback. We have got Devontae Adams. So we've got Stafford. We've got Lawrence. I'm trying to think about tight ends. So Kraft is in play for us. Kyle Pitts is in play with Stefanski. Obviously, Kittle is in play. Gadsden's in play. Ooh, then you got to go. Then you really got to go down a wise. Then we get Brenton Strange. Then we get TJ Hawkinson. Okay, so it seems like we're gonna maybe have a little bit of trouble at tight end. So that's gonna potentially be. So I mean, if we just look through this list here, we've got Kittle, we've got Kraft, we've got Bowers, we've got Pitts, we've got Gadsden, we've got Dulcich, we've got Barner and Arroyo, we have got Kate Otten, Hawkinson, T. Ferg, Brenton Strange, McBride. Okay, so tight end might be a little bit difficult here, especially because I mean I think probably a lot of these teams are going to be doing that 13 personnel this upcoming season. But I mean the way this is shaping up right now, I mean I haven't had to reach on anyone yet. So we are through, our first six picks without having to do any big reaches, which you really can't do if you're really trying to do like if you're trying to go into a Best Ball Mania draft and then do a forced strategy. Like when I make these videos, when I do these little thought experiment videos, a lot of the times I am having to make a pretty big reach. And I mean, even looking at the flock tool here, slightly recommending three quarterbacks, slight recommendation for five running backs, but I'm kind of well within the advancement grade. Seven wide receivers is the suggestion, but I was going to say three tight ends is going to be almost 2% better in terms of a total advance rate in a 2 million team sample size. Pretty firmly in the quarterback zone here. I mean, this is the pocket of the draft where you got to do it. Metcalf, I think we determined. I mean, you guys can tell me, but if Brian Angelino worked under O'Connell in Minnesota, that definitely is part of the tree. So I could take Metcalf. I could have taken Rico. I could take Rico Dowdle, and maybe I still will. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence here. I definitely think there is a chance that I get Matt Stafford coming all the way back around to my 9-10 picks. So if I do that, then I can give myself a chance to take Dowdle. I'm definitely going to take three tight ends on this team. I could also take Herbert if I wanted. What do I think is better? What? I've 7.6% of Trevor Lawrence. I've got 4% of Justin Herbert. Let's take Herbert because I think I want to take Gadsden here anyways, and I'll probably want to take my guy Keaton Missile. I could take both of them. I could take Chris Godwin to give myself a double stack. There's not really, I mean, Metcalf is the big ADP value here, and I think I determined that I'm gonna allow myself to do that. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think Metcalf? What would you do if you were comment down below what you guys would have done here? Would you have taken Lawrence? Okay, well, Metcalf wins, so never mind. So I'm either going to take Lawrence or Godwin here. Looking at the tool, seven wide receivers, almost eight wide receivers, actually. So okay, well, Lawrence went. That made my decision easier. So let's take Godwin, and then at the next turn, we should feel pretty comfortable that one of Stafford or Baker will be there for us. Even Malik Willis. I mean, I have a lot more Malik Willis than I do of Baker Mayfield. So Herbert, Genty, Achan, Kyron, Igbuka, Devontae Adams, Brian Thomas Jr. We are, boys, we're McShanny maxing. Looks like my gamble is going to potentially pay off, except something that is happening that is just big time hurting me here. We are about to be at pick 107. My guy Patrick Mahomes has still not gone. Baker is still available. Looking at the distribution, I mean, three quarterbacks does seem better. The thing is I'm way behind at tight end. Do I want to take Kittle unstacked? Do I want to take Gadsden? I mean, obviously, it does make sense to. I got to get like at least one 49er, right? You got to get at least one guy from the actual Shanahan part of the branch. Okay, well, there I lost out on quarterback anyway. So I'm going to take Baker Mayfield here because Stafford just went. So we have the Baker double with Igbuka and Godwin. I can take Sean Tucker later and I'm going to take Gadsden right here. And I think the 49er that I'm going to try and take is I'm going to take Pat Kerrane's favorite. I'm going to take Dijon Stribling, or maybe I'll take Kirk a little bit later. But so far, we have represented the Chargers with McDaniel. We have Tampa Bay with Zach Robinson. We have got Jacksonville with Liam Cohen, Rams, obviously, with Sean McVay. And then we've got Miami, who I literally, with PFF Bobby is there, and then we've got Genty with Kubiak. So really, the only thing I'm missing. Let's see who else. So who else do I need to take? I should try and get a Packers player. I should try and get a Falcons player. I should try and get a Seahawks player. We've got the Buccaneers. Maybe I'll take Demond Claiborne as a running back. I'd like to cover all the bases on this team, really just to do the Shanahan bingo. So keep me honest. Positionally, we are looking at a 2-3-4-1. We're kind of in a weird spot of the draft. I mean, Aaron Jones does fit this challenge here. Like I said, though, I it was a really good thing I took Gadsden, and potentially maybe I should have also taken Kittle there, because the next tight end who is going to meet our criteria is like, I mean, it's TJ Hawkinson, it's AJ Barner there at the very end. I mean, I guess we could take Darnold and backstack him. I'd like to. Oh, I mean, this is easy, Davis. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that it's freaking Keaton missile time. So we took. I think that's the highest I've taken him at pick 131. You could argue that was one of the biggest reaches that I've made. I mean, shouldn't I just take Jalen McMillan? Just go I'm all in on Baker. I don't think there's a tight end that really, I mean, Strange, I guess, makes sense here. I'm probably gonna go later on those guys. Is there an obvious running back I'm missing? I don't think so. I mean, I think I just take Jalen McMillan here, unless I'm missing something fairly obvious. Maybe there is like a really obvious pick that I'm not making, and you guys are gonna yell at me in the comments. But I think, I mean, triple stacking Baker Mayfield is probably a bit much. Maybe I do just take Brenton Strange here. What do I do? You know what? I'm gonna take Strange. So, and the reason why I'm gonna take Strange is I don't think I want Kate Otten. I know I want to take my guy T Ferg. I know I want, and I knew that at my next pick I want to try and take Stribling. This was too early. I mean, I think this was too early to take Dijon Stribling. Maybe it's not. Maybe you guys disagree. Maybe it wasn't too early to take Dijon Stribling, but I think that was probably the proper path there. Does triple stacking in best ball, like in terms of pass catchers, really work? Like, yes, obviously you are going to get all of the guys' best games, but there's going to be some weeks where Baker Mayfield throws for 220 yards and one touchdown, and I'm dead at wide receiver. And I don't even really like Brenton Strange, honestly. Like, he's not someone that I actively target, but sometimes you got to fulfill a mission. What an absolute time to be alive, where I'm sitting here at pick 155 and really hoping that I don't get sniped on Dijon Stribling. I could allow myself a little bit of a treat pick here with Travis Hunter. In terms of available remaining running backs, I do think that I want five. 18% advance rate on a smaller sample size, right? On only 13,000 teams. So maybe I don't care about that one as much. I tell you what, it's very interesting. This is just maybe an experience that's more personal to me, probably a little bit less relevant to you guys, but just to not have Kansas City players, to not have Philadelphia players, just available at all is a bit strange. I did actually say that Atlanta is cool. I'm including Stefanski in here because he is a big part of the zone running scheme, um, which obviously is downstream from Kyle's dad. A little bit of football history for you guys there. Unclear what age a lot of you guys are to me. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Stribling because I need a minimum of one 49er. I mean, there was no way I was gonna. So I have a 49er. I don't have a Seahawk yet. I do have a Dolphin. I got Chargers. No Falcon yet. Maybe I take Brian Robinson Jr. But I did make sure to get my actual Shanahan. Yeah, let's do Brian Robinson Jr. as my fifth running back, probably my final running back. So Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Ashton Genty, Devin A. Chain, Kyron Williams, Keaton Mitchell, Brian Robinson Jr., Emeka Egbuka, Devontae Adams, Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Godwin, and Dejon Stribling. This is a good best ball team. Like this is like a no bet. Sometimes when I do these thought experiment drafts, I'm like, are these teams even any good? Am I like costing myself money doing these or theoretical money? But this is like actually just a pretty good best ball mania team. So send it higher. I mean, maybe I do take Trey Harris here. He's actually no. I want to take Zachariah Branch. Trey Harris win anyways. So let's do Zachariah Branch. That gives us another Falcon, which is technically in there. I might just take Terrence Ferguson here because I'd be too annoyed to get sniped off of him. Is there a third quarterback? I guess third quarterback marginally impacting my advance rate. Five running backs is better than six running backs in the limited sample. And then three tight ends for sure. So yeah, three tight ends for sure. Let's just take T Ferg. I wanna knock that one out. I mean, imagine not getting Terrence Ferguson on this team on the McShaney tree. If you're not gonna get Kittle, you got to get T Ferg, who is like so emblematic of what Sean McVay did to the NFL. Probably no player more emblematic to me. I mean, you might argue Colby Parkinson to the way in which McVay looked at what was happening in the NFL with defensive backs getting smaller, linebackers getting smaller, more defensive backs on the field, teams trying to rush four, teams just like letting you run into them. And Sean McVay said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get bigger. But when I get bigger, I'm still going to throw. I feel like that actually is sort of underappreciated in the current offensive environment of football. Like it's actually insane that Sean McVay looked at a situation and said, "I'm going to throw out of heavy and that is going to be my base." So, we do have a 49er, we have Stribling, we don't have a Packer, we do have a Raider, we have Genty, we have two Falcons players, we have a Charger stack, we have Achan for the Dolphins. I've not taken a Seahawks player yet. I've got a Buccaneers stack. I don't have a Vikings player yet. So I could take Claiborne at the end. I've got Rams. I've got Jags. I don't have a Cardinal. Okay. So I mean, do I have the whole tree covered? No. Am I firmly within the tree? Yes. And the most important thing is that I have both Rams players and at least one 49ers player. I mean, I could take Kalen Black at the end if I wanted. I'm trying to think in terms of late round targets in these offenses. So you've got Tucker who counts, you've got Kalen Black, you've got Claiborne, you've got Jordan James. The Baltimore guys don't count. Ollie Gordon is in there. You could take Marshawn Lloyd. In terms of pass catchers in these offenses, I mean, you've got the Miami Flotsam. That's about it. You've got Christian Kirk. You do have Ted Hurst if you wanted to do that. Look at my boy Baker there. I mean, the late rounds. I suppose it's kind of funny where there's a little bit of a tell there in which the market is telling you well, these are really good offenses, so you're not able to cheaply get their wide receiver 3. I mean, the 49ers have 4 wide receivers being drafted. The Rams have 2 tight ends being drafted. By the way, is anyone taking a Rams third running back? Is anyone taking Jarquez Hunter? I took some Jarquez Hunter last year. Are you guys taking Jarquez Hunter? So, with 2 picks left to go, we've got Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Ashton Genty, Devin Achane, Kyron Williams, Keaton Missile, Brian Robinson Jr., Emeka Egbuka, Devontae Adams, Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Godwin, Dijon Stribling, Zachariah Branch, Arante Gadsden, Brenton Strange, and Terrence Ferguson. I mean, maybe this is the team to take 3 quarterbacks. So maybe I do take Tua, maybe I do take Penix. I mean, I think you would argue Herbert and Mayfield probably lack a little bit of median projection. I actually think you feel good about the ceilings for both of Mayfield and Herbert. They both have definitely shown a ceiling. So I guess in the context of this team, what makes more sense? Tua, who's going to start the year but potentially lose his job, or Michael Penix Jr., who's not going to start the year. I think we do Penix. On this one, I feel like I wanna get the I wanna mine for a little bit of the later upside there with Michael Penix Jr. So we've got the Stefanski stack with Brian Robinson Jr. and Zachariah Branch. What'd I say? I said I was missing a Vikings player, and I'm missing a Seahawks player and a Packers player. So does any of that fit? Packers at the end here. No one's draftable. Seahawks, I mean, Cooper Cup is maybe draftable. Cooper Cup is kind of draftable. What do we do? What do we do? You know what I'm actually gonna do? I'm gonna take Brennan Thompson. I'm gonna allow myself a little bit of Brennan Thompson as a treat. So there we go. The McShanny experiment has gone through with a Justin Herbert double, a Baker Mayfield double, a Michael Penix double. Very strong running back room with the Genti A-Chan start, Kyron Williams, Keaton Mitchell, Brian Robinson, Igbuka, Adams, BTJ, Godwin, Stribling, Branch, and Brennan Thompson. Just need a little something out of my rookie wide receivers there, Gadsden, Strange, and T. Ferg. Honestly, I mean, you wouldn't want to do 150 drafts like this, but if your kind of guiding principle in some of these drafts was as simple as, oh, yeah, I think I would like to just draft more Shanahan tree guys and say Shanahan and his acolytes and McVay and their acolytes are the ones who are going to be able to solve. Because keep in mind, the NFL, this most recent season, I mean, it's basically the worst offensive efficiency we've seen in 10 years. Running is up, passing is down, defenses are bigger, defenses have the advantage. And if I'm betting on a group of guys to figure out that advantage, it's for sure going to be the McShanny guys. So there we go. If you guys want to use this overlay, you should head over to flockfantasy.com. You can go to the best ball tab, use code Davis to sign up over there. You get the Chrome extension and the overlay tool. Link to that is in the description. Link to that is in the comments. Make sure to use code Davis when you hop over there. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with all of you guys. I got a special video for you guys tomorrow.